Welcome back, everybody. This is part 2 of our reaction to PIKU. Thanks so much for coming back. Please hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Because you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing a cut down version of our reaction because we can only show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture. But if you want to watch the whole thing with us, uncut, uninterrupted, head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabyKOAY. But you will need your own copy of the movie so you can open it up in an adjacent window to our reaction. And it's like you're watching it with 2 of your favorite pals from the internet. One of whom you'll see in a second, because this is just me. But it's me and SYNTELL together. Thanks again for coming back. Here's the part 2 of our reaction.
अरे नई जॉब था मेरा, तो मेरी कहां सुनी हो गई एक दिन. I was right, निकाल दिया नौकरी से.
Hey, तुम्हारा पांचू बाबू.
क्या? क्या बाबू?
कुछ नहीं, कुछ नहीं. तुम्हें फूल लगा के क्यों बात करता है? अगर तुम सही था तो.
हाँ, तब से तो टैक्सी बिजनेस संभाल रहा हूँ.
What does it look for?
तो किसी ने कोई ऐसा राग क्यों नहीं गाया जिसके गाने से बड़ करके पेट साफ हो जाता? Like राग मोशन.
His face.
ये तुलसी है, ये पुदीना है. इसको पानी में बॉईल करके पीजिए, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. जो भी अंदर है सब बाहर आ जाएगा. अच्छा.
Well, he's trying to help. His
आप लोग
cauldron of.
It's just the only topic you both discuss. Taking a shit.
Well, I should have known.
She's just like, welcome to my world.
I mean, when you get older, the basics, they become harder and they become a more frequent topic of conversation.
लखन 112 में लेके जा.
बाबा आप जाओ मैं आती हूँ.
ए दीपू कोता है?
अभी आशी.
She like, I just gotta get away for a second. I'm not mad at that. Shoot.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not mistaken, they're at a holy place.
Ah.
Yeah.
यहाँ पे ना दूध जलेबी बहुत सॉलिड मिलती है.
She's like, I just wanted to be alone.
Right.
कल तुम चलाना.
I don't like driving.
Driving liberates a woman.
तुम ये सब मुझे इम्प्रेस करने के लिए कह रहे हो कि सच में औरतों को रिस्पेक्ट?
This is a straightforward family.
सुबह किसी से लड़ रहे थे. सब ऋतु.
मेरी बहन. और उससे भी खपती मेरी माँ. तुम इन्हीं की लड़की हो?
हाँ मैं इन्हीं की लड़की हूँ. और मैं इनसे 10 times ज़्यादा strange, weird, irritating, annoying. But मैं हूँ इनसे ज़्यादा.
Yep.
What do you mean?
They're both the same.
Yeah.
सुनो. यहीं पे सो जाओ.
हाँ वही तो मैं कह रहा था.
I mean, you don't want your driver tired.
That thing is tiny.
Ugh. It was better than sleeping in a car.
बिना आवाज़ के नहीं कर सकते क्या?
हाँ चुपचाप करो.
To think he's actually like interested in her.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he's definitely curious.
नहीं आप इंडियन स्टाइल में बैठते हैं कि वेस्टर्न स्टाइल में?
ना व्हाट डू यू मीन? इंडियन स्टाइल तो अभी होता किधर है आजकल?
लेकिन इससे अच्छा.
You gotta crouch. Just
Get you a squatty potty.
Yeah, squatty.
Those things really work too.
ये ऐसे बैठते हैं तो पेट में प्रेशर आता है और फिर पाइपलाइन में जितना वेस्ट मटेरियल है ना वो धीरे धीरे धीरे.
I don't think I knew the reason why squatty potties work so well.
I want to reach Kolkata safely, you know.
आर्थराइटिस का प्रॉब्लम है. He cannot do these stunts.
बुधन है सर वो पकड़ेगा. I can also come inside.
बाबा what is wrong with you?
Look, he's trying to help, man.
हम आपको चढ़ा देते हैं.
बाबा अगर आप गिर गए तो?
ना hey Madhan. Hey Ganesh.
Fine. जब तुम लोग
Yo, it's a group project, man.
Not satisfactorily. फिर भी कुछ नया करने को मिला.
His face.
Don't think up
Like he's trying.
Say you can impress him or me. We know everything about constipation.
Oh yeah, obviously.
She likes him. She likes him. It worked. don't think you can impress me because I'm impressed.
ड्राइव नहीं किया है
ऐसे एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं keep quiet.
ना एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो पीछे से सड़क के ऊपर ट्रक के नीचे कुत्ता बिल्ली की तरह हमको नहीं बांटेगा I don't like unnatural death हेलो लक्षणा hey stop the car hey
आपके भालो लगने नहीं लगने से क्या होता है? जब टाइम आएगा तो मरेंगे. सड़क तो सड़क, हॉस्पिटल तो हॉस्पिटल. ओ तो तुम घर बेचने जा रही हो?
पता नहीं.
This reminds me a little bit of Yellow Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, it does. To me, it's that and it's as good as it gets. It's both of them. If you could like combine the two of those movies.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting how the basics, like you exercise just so you don't fall apart.
Yes. No, I stretch before everything. I stretch before I go get a drink of water.
एयर प्लग का सेल वीक हो गया उधर वो ढाबा में ए व्हाई आर यू स्टिल ड्राइविंग यू टर्न
अभी थोड़ी देर में पहुंच जाएंगे कलकत्ता.
आई कैन टेक बस आल्सो नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन एनीबॉडी नोबडी
बटन होते आप तो दिल्ली के अंदर बैठे होते. कलकत्ता लेके नहीं जाती वो आपको. कुछ बातें कान के अंदर नहीं पड़ेंगी तो प्रलय थोड़ी आ जाएगी.
Hey.
बीच रास्ता में मोशन का फील
तो मैं गाड़ी साइड में लगा दूंगा. आपका जो सिंहासन रखा है उसको निकाल देंगे. आपको बिठा देंगे.
Oh, they call it a throne though.
All right.
Don't make me pull this car over again.
When you reach the point where your driver's getting involved in your family affairs, it's like you clearly got some real issues.
Yo, but he defended her, look.
Yeah.
And in a good way, in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was a good little scene.
सो जाओ.
Sure.
सो जाओ. पहुंचा दो.
Thank you.
That was nice of her to be considered of the co-pilot idea.
Yeah.
I've had too many instances where the gal next to me just falls asleep. I'm like, yo.
She's like, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did sleep. You know, I love the headrest rule. When you're shooting in cars, you always got to take the headrests out.
Oh, for the shot,
For the
yeah.
passenger seat and the driver's seat, yeah.
They usually take out the rearview mirror as well sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, Vinod.
Wow, is that their home?
Whole night we were just awake.
Yo, that is a custom I really love. The respecting your elders' feet, because you best believe when I get older, I'd be like, yeah, you're gonna have to implement that, man.
Yeah. You gotta teach it to Cairo now.
Yeah.
ओनर है वो ड्राइवर नहीं आया तो he drove us.
अच्छा, माने दिल्ली का लोग उतना भी बुरा नहीं है जितना कि we people think here.
Please don't mind.
Yo, the whole family be talking reckless.
भाई तुम वापस दिल्ली जाने का तो नहीं सोच रहा है? No. तुम टायर्ड होगा.
You tolerated us, you family. You better hang out.
वो नीचे वाले कमरे में.
ना. ये गड़बड़ है. वो उधर.
She's like, stay. Come on, man. Yeah.
You know you're into that. Come on, dude. Like,
Exactly.
this is a good test run for what you're gonna do for the rest of your natural life. That's what you're marrying into.
Yeah, for real. He's definitely. It's no mystery now.
Yeah.
You know, you get to stay in a beautiful home for a good evening.
Yeah.
Why not?
आपके बावेल प्रॉब्लम इतना क्रॉनिक कैसे हो गया? I don't think हमारा फैमिली में किसी को था.
Father had it. अरे तुमको क्या मालूम? तुम तो एकदम बिजी था ना अपना.
I was talking about this right before eating.
Don't stop her. She's right. फ्रस्ट्रेशन जो है बहुत गड़बड़ करता है. नेगेटिव इनसाइड होता है उसके बाद डाइजेशन गड़बड़ हो जाता है और डाइजेशन गड़बड़ होता है फिर
कॉन्स्टिपेशन हो जाता है. कमाल है. आप हर बात को पेट से कैसे जोड़ देते हैं?
दादा आपको रिलैक्स करना चाहिए.
अरे तुम भी बोलो ना. जानिश पीकू, तेरे काकू कितने घंटे बाथरूम में बैठा रहता है?
Oh my lord.
Father had पूरे फैमिली में है।
नहीं दादा, नहीं दादा, मेरा नहीं दादा, मेरा constipation नहीं है।
He's looking around like this is crazy.
अमेरिका में हर तीसरे आदमी को ये प्रॉब्लम है। जैसे कोई भी नॉर्मल आदमी है, नॉर्मल मतलब जैसे कि मैं।
तुम इतना कॉन्फिडेंटली कैसे बोलता है?
ऑन एन एवरेज 3 दिन में एक बार जाते हैं, दिन भर खाते रहते हैं, कोल्ड ड्रिंक, पिज्जा, बर्गर, सब जमा होता रहता है फिक्स डिपॉजिट।
Golly, I would be in turmoil if I went once every 3 days. Oh, God, no.
Yeah, so I never heard that statistic.
I haven't either. That's crazy.
No, I've heard of people who go like once every other day, but like for me it's daily.
Oh, it's absolutely daily. Sometimes a twofer.
Yeah.
कभी आपने सुना है किसी गाय या भैंस को कॉन्स्टिपेशन हुआ हो या हार्ट गोबर, लूज गोबर कभी होता है?
Hey, logic that ठीक है। Are you sure?
Not everything is copyrighted. Yo, my man is adapting. I'm rooting for you, man. Oh, that tea looked good, though. Oh. To say the least.
तो कहीं बाहर चलें घूमने?
There you go. Shoot your shot, man. Yeah.
बाटा कंपनी में तुम्हारा जॉब का एप्लीकेशन कौन भेजा था? उधर मेरा कनेक्शन था, फिर भी तुम वो चाकरी नहीं लिया, क्या नो?
फिर मेरा सैलरी would have been more than his.
फिर तुम वही लो IQ वाला बात किया।
Wow. That is a weird thing that like I don't understand when some people feel conflicted about their woman making more money. I'm like, I welcome it. Shit, go for it, boo.
That means everybody wins.
Exactly. as long as she's cool and you're cool, then everybody's cool.
इमोशनल अटैचमेंट है तो फिर ये घर आप बेचना क्यों चाहता है दादा?
ब्रिक बाय ब्रिक हम कंस्ट्रक्ट किया ये घर को। चंपा कुछ कभी नहीं बिक सकता। It will never be sold. माँ का नाम है इसमें चंपा, जानो? But दादा, ना की मेंटेनेंस नहीं कर सकता? Fine, I will give the money.
You know what it is? I think for him it's legacy, right?
Yeah.
It's the legacy of the place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pride.
फादर ने तुम उनकी माँ क्यों बनी बैठी हो?
क्योंकि राना एक एज के बाद पेरेंट्स अपने आप जिंदा नहीं रह पाते, उनको जिंदा रखना पड़ता है और वो जिम्मेदारी बच्चों का ही है। तो अगर किसी को मुझसे शादी करनी है तो
तुम्हारे 90 साल के बच्चे को अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा।
बिल्कुल। करोगे शादी?
That's playful and fun.
He didn't get flustered when she said, would you marry me?
Nah.
He played it cool.
पीकू के बारे में सौरभ का शादी हो चुका है, आपको तो कोई पसंद नहीं आता, आप थिंकिंग करके क्या फायदा?
I am thinking तुम हमारा पीछा कब छोड़ेगा? इधर भी आ गया।
मेरे यहाँ आने से आपको इतना प्रॉब्लम है?
They just love to like hate each other.
Yeah.
देख रहे थे?
मैं आपको देख रहा था।
Oh really?
हाँ।
सच बोलो वरना।
I think that those family courtyards, I just think that is so awesome. You know, the area where you could just hang out, do that, read.
अरे वेंटिलेटर तो लगाना नहीं चाहिए कभी। It is wrong. ये सब commercial business है, professional money making. Why did you allow them to do it?
Oh my God.
It is inhuman treatment. Torture किया तुम अपना father को। हम जब मरेगा, तो don't do all this with me. I want to die in peace.
That touched a nerve.
Yeah.
Did I say anything to him? No.
Rana bhaiya.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah.
नीचे बुलाए हैं आपको.
Yeah, because you don't know what people's histories are, right? You know, who knows what that relationship was like?
अभी सॉरी का जरूरत नहीं है, मैं ठीक हूँ, मुझे बुरा नहीं लगा मुझे, it's okay.
Sorry किस लिए? तुम सिविल किया ना? You did civil. देखो तो जरा.
He finds it hilarious.
That's funny. He said, sorry. I'm not sorry. Fix this pump, man. Oh, man.
डॉक्टर श्रीवास्तव हमको बोला सिर्फ खिचड़ी बाहर का खाना नहीं
खिचड़ी कैसे पकेगा? अरे चावल और दाल भिगोना पड़ेगा।
Oh man.
Thank you, Mr. Chowdary. Thank you so much. Thank you.
एक दो दिन और रुक सकते थे ना?
भाई अरे उसका उधर बिजनेस है फैमिली है नो यू मस्ट गो यू गो
मैं फोन करूँ
Yeah, take that shot.
चंपाकुंज will not be sold. और अगर काको और काकी को objection नहीं है, find a tenant. Okay?
Let's say it with confidence.
I think
that is a beautiful instrument.
I think that's the instrument you were hearing earlier, and you thought it was a guitar.
Ah, okay.
I might be wrong.
Look at the way that it's crafted.
I think that's what it is.
कार साइकिल
और तूने साइकिल लॉक क्यों नहीं किया?
कल रात को चाबी ले लिया।
I think as you get older, the safer thing to do is just have a Peloton. Old people fucking die from a broken hip all the time, so.
Yeah, that's very true.
You don't need to be falling over.
He said, I want to go to Calcutta, so I said, fine. मैंने सब छोड़ के I came with him. See what he's doing now. अगर गिर गए तो रास्ते में?
Exactly. It just takes one bad fall, and that's a wrap. When you get older.
Yeah, when you get really old, breaking your hip is almost like a death sentence.
Yeah. It's a tough thing because it's like that fresh air and stuff like that is great for you.
Yeah.
But that fall ain't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so real. It's like you get inspired by some random article that you didn't even properly read. And then you just start employing that in your life. Mm-hmm. Oh.
My man out here living his best life right now.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be tired. That was a long journey.
1 month ago, he has collapsed. His BP has dropped. ऐसे suddenly उठ के आप 25 किलोमीटर साइकिलिंग नहीं कर सकते आप समझे?
Dang.
Absolutely selfish. Yes, I have had physical relationships, but is this something he needs to tell every man I meet? Ki, meet my daughter, she's not a virgin. Which father does this?
That's pretty insane. Yo, but Jollibee tastes good. It's sweet. He shouldn't be eating it.
Oh, he looked like he had a good one. That looks like an accomplishment.
सब कुछ खाना चाहिए
कुछ हुआ?
Like never before. अद्भुत. Let me cycle. I am enjoying.
Oh, that's tough.
Right. I feel both of them.
Yeah.
I feel both of them, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to unpack.
देख तो दादा को अलार्म बजा लेकिन वो उठा नहीं मैंने जगाया कुछ बोलते भी नहीं दादू देखा पीको
Oh, he's gone.
दादू उठे मुनी
I thought that something like that might happen. Like he went there to die.
Mm-hmm. He went home.
Yeah. That's rough. Last conversation you had wasn't like super positive.
भाई साहब पीसफुल डेथ ही चाहते थे.
Yes, uncle. No tube, no ventilator. बाबा बहुत खुश थे. He said वो best motion था.
All that tension was gone, huh? Everything.
देखो मेरा फर्ज है तुम्हें बताना. भाई साहब को लगता था सैयद को भी constipation है.
Do you have constipation?
Yeah.
पहले क्यों नहीं बताया?
मतलब just PIKU.
What is that supposed to mean? She's not supposed to be with him?
Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately.
मेरी जगह कोई और होता तो शायद यही करते हो।
आजकल कोई नहीं करता।
Especially in America.
भास्कर KORKAR नहीं। कल तक ठीक नहीं किया तो पैसे नहीं दूंगी। दीदी।
Oh, she was the housekeeper, right?
कल से आना।
Huh. That's an interesting way to end it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a slice of life kind of movie. You know?
Yeah.
There's something interesting about these kinds of movies from India, and maybe you can help me figure it out. It feels akin to an independent film that we might see over here.
Yeah, I agree with
like
that.
Yellow Miss Sunshine, I would say falls into the category of high-level independent because, you know, you have really, truly independent, like, I made it on an iPhone or something, you know, mirrorless camera versus high-level Fox Searchlight independent or something like that. And I think that's what Yellow Miss Sunshine was. This kind of movie reminds me of those kinds of independent films that we'll see over here. For whatever reason, I don't find it as palatable as when it comes from India. I've never been able to figure out why it's more interesting to me when it comes from another country. And maybe it's because of that slice of life thing from another country that you don't normally get exposed to. Maybe that's what it is. Us being American, seeing independent movies from America about slice of life stuff, it's like, well, I live that slice of life. I don't necessarily need it in my movies.
I think you are hitting on something with that. Nothing is as interesting as your neighbor, right?
Right.
You get a chance to take a sneak peek and see somebody else's family dysfunction, because every family has some dysfunction. No family's exempt from it.
Right.
But it's more interesting when you look at somebody else's dysfunction, so you can get away from your own dysfunction.
Right.
Another thing when you look at a lot of independent films as well is that sometimes you have actors that may not necessarily connect to for whatever reason. But in this one, I mean, every single actor did a very good job. Like I felt everyone, not one fell short. Whereas that may not necessarily always be the case in American cinema when it comes to independent film. There's some people that just may not necessarily have the best experience.
Right. The thing towards the end of the movie where he decided to go on this bike ride, which ironically is the thing that did him in. Because like he was doing the bike ride so that he could live longer and have a long-lasting life like that Japanese guy. He had this erratic heart rate thing and his body just couldn't take it. He had a good poo-poo, but the film every now and then was introducing an idea, a conversation to have that I thought was pretty cool. And it's that dichotomy of, because earlier I was talking about how, him riding around, he could fall over and get hurt. That's exactly what she was afraid of. But at the same time, I get into conflicts with my mom all the time because she'll eat fried food from time to time. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? That's not good for you. And she's like, I want to enjoy my meal. And so it's that weird balancing act of like, look, it's my life and I'd like to enjoy it how I want to enjoy it. You can say what you want about how unhealthy it is and et cetera, et cetera. And if I eat this other thing, I can live longer, but I'm not enjoying my meals.
Right.
It's like, where does your quality of life come from? It's a tricky thing. Like there are people who, when they have cancer, for instance, they don't want to have all those treatments and live the remainder of their days in a hospital looking awful. They want to live the remainder of their days living life. They won't tell anybody what happened to them. They won't go to a hospital and get treatments. They'll just like live life as great as they can until their lights go out. I guess it's just really up to you, but the problem also becomes your offspring, the family that you have around you. And in this case, it's like she's all worked up and worried because of the chances he's taking with himself and the food that he bought. That's just like, I don't really have anywhere to go with that. It's just a thought that kind of popped up into my head as a result of the film because it's sort of introducing these different ideas.
I don't think this film, at least from my understanding, I don't think it's intended to teach you this overall arching lesson.
Right.
It's just, this is a family dysfunction. This is a man who just can't let shit go in every capacity, literally and figuratively.
Right.
And how it affects the other people in his life. I think there is the small lesson, and that is the fact that when he did finally to let it go, he was able to find like peace within himself, and then he could die in peace.
Yeah.
I think maybe from my perspective is that, we're all dying slowly. I mean, if you want to get morbid about it, but if you're gonna sit there and be all wound up about it and focus solely on the hypochondria of this isn't going wrong, this little thing isn't right, I gotta fix this and all that, then that defines your existence, and it's a horrible existence to live. I noticed something when they were paying tribute with the pictures and the things that he used in his life, like his comb and all this. They had his hypochondria box in there, legitimately defined him for a large part of his life.
Yeah.
They paid homage. I saw flowers in it and stuff. It's like, dang, that is how big and how important that was to him in his life. And if that is going to define you, it's like, are you really living a good life?
Right.
He played the sitar, he rode this bike, he got a chance to eat food that I'm sure he probably ate when he was a kid. That's absolutely horrible for him. He biked 20 some odd kilometers. I don't know if that's real or not. You know, he had that moment, and I think it was when Rana told him and was like, listen, you know, the secret to life is to stop hiding the salt. You know, stop hiding all of this stuff so that people cannot understand you. You know, give them the opportunity, give them the salt and understand, look, I like this salt, I like this food. This is me opening up so that you can get to know me a little bit better. Stop hiding it. So he stopped hiding the things that he liked and enjoyed and stopped trying to get people to come to him through dependence, you know?
Yeah.
And once that happened, I think the family healed as an overall heal. But I thought that was just an interesting way, you know?
You're right that he was misunderstood, because even when he came back home, they thought he was coming to finish the deed of like selling off that home. That's how little they understood him.
Yes, that's a very good point.
But to what you're saying, there's a movie called The Farewell. So in The Farewell, Awkwafina is dealing with her mom who is unwell. But because of that culture, they haven't told her that she's unwell. Everybody just kept it to themselves and didn't actually say anything to her.
Oh, they didn't tell the lady that was unwell.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't tell her that she's basically dying. They just kept it to themselves and, you know, tried to live as normally and happily and positively as they could. And as a result, she was able to live a lot longer because she didn't even know that anything was wrong with her.
Right.
Yeah. This is a conversation that can splinter off into a lot of different directions when you're talking about it philosophically as opposed to the movie itself. Just quality of life. And you living your life to the fullest. You living your life not like a meerkat in fear of everything, but, you know, just really going out there and connecting with another individual, connecting with your family. Well, I used to do it more when pandemic was raging. At the end of my videos, at the end of live streams, I would always say to people, you know, please connect with your friends and family, FaceTime with them, let them know that you love them and all that stuff. Like really connect with another individual, because we're often doing this and saying, I don't have time for you, as opposed to actually like looking at each other like we're doing now. And so I think that's actually a really important aspect of living. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Coming back to this, while the father's request, Amitabh Bachchan's request, was aggravating for Deepika Padukone, it led her to meet the man that she's going to spend the rest of her life with, presumably.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you a question regarding that. So did that define like her partner, her work partner who has constipation? Is that like a way of saying that you're going to be dealing with this all over again because your work partner suffers from the same disorder that her father did?
Yeah, so there's a lot that could be unpacked from that, as you know just as well as I do. Oftentimes, like, and it's sort of a Freudian or psychological thing where you end up dating one of your parents, you know? I've been in situations where I felt like I was dating someone that was akin to my mom or akin to my father. Females, of course, but like still, like there's that personality trait that you're dealing with in your significant other. It's like I've encountered whatever the frustrations were with my father, I've encountered that in my female partners on more than one relationship. For her to find out that this guy has constipation just like her father did, I would imagine the implication is if she goes with him, she's gonna be dealing with the same thing for the rest of her life. That's not an arc for her. Whereas, you know, this other guy, he's practical, he can put up with her bullshit, he's very patient.
He's very patient.
Yeah.
He's very patient.
And so he's
patient as you can be.
Yeah. And he's got every reason to be because he's dealing with, you know, them yapping Nancy's at home. He's been exposed in the truest sense to what is gonna be the biggest hurdles in dating her, right? That relationship is gonna be like the biggest hurdles in her personality and because like everyone you date, there's gonna be hurdles in the personality, and most of the time you don't know what you're dealing with. You're literally like walking into a mystery box, right? Because you're not exposed to the ongoings of their personal life with their friends or family until way later, until you're well invested and you're like, well, great. Now I'm in it.
Tell me about that piece of baggage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound now, I guess. And so yeah, he got exposed to it, and he was still cool when he came downstairs. And Irrfan Khan came downstairs, was like, you know, you no need to apologize. And then Pops was like, what are you talking about? I need you to fix this.
Talking about? Yo, get off your ass and go fix this.
Yeah. I'm still trying to understand what the hell happened in that scene because he never apologized, but he did acknowledge that Irrfan Khan was right. She was amused because Irrfan Khan was putting up with it because he had all the patience of how to deal with this problem.
Right.
You know, there's notion of soulmates and stuff like that. There's a notion of two whole people coming together because I remember talking to a lady friend a long time ago who was like, you know, in order for two people to have a successful relationship, they need to be two whole people. If you have a 7 and a 6, for instance, you get 13, right? But if you have have two whole people, and let's say you have a 9 and a 10, they're not gonna make 19. They're gonna have a synergistic effect and make a 64 or 72. And those are soulmates. And I'm like, okay, so that stayed in my head for the longest time. But then I thought, we're all kind of messed up. That evolved into me thinking, well, if we're all broken glass, then we're just trying to find people where the jagged pieces fit together.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad way to think about it.
Yeah. And so I feel like they basically are meant for each other because he's dealing with the shit at home, the Nancys that berate him. He's encountering this. He has the perfect amount of patience to deal with it. It's just interesting because he's moving towards something. Maybe all that stuff at home prepared him for this kind of relationship. Interesting because she's doing the opposite, where she's moving away from someone that is representative of her father.
If anything, she's turned a corner, and then how like you always want to see like a change in your character, and in hers, like I said earlier in the film, I didn't even realize she was as attractive as she was, because like for the first 30 minutes of the film, all you see is this. She's just, it's just scouring, and he's just angry, and he's just a tortured soul. But as she learns through the journey and through the road trip, she learns maybe a different methodology of how to handle the stress, and she learned it through Rana. But she also realized that if I am going to go a different route and be with somebody and maybe possibly get married and see, I need somebody that can handle my dad, he can handle me, because we're one and the same. And how she kind of like changed and how she softened is that she saw her father soften. It wasn't a big soften, but it was more so than it was in the beginning. And I think she realized that she's capable of that too. She doesn't have to stay that person, always angry, always, on that level. And she can probably do that safely with Rana.
I think the symbolism at the end of them playing the game together, I think it's symbolic of they know how to play together, in this relationship, the way you're describing and whatnot.
You have to have like a really good yin and yang, because I am a horrible person to have a relationship with. I'm tough. I'm difficult. It's just what it is. But fortunately, there's somebody in my life that is able to take those very sharp edges that I have and kind of like roll with those punches. Because if not, it wouldn't work. There's some parts of your personality that's just going to be unchanged, and especially when you get older. So you either have to find somebody that knows how to manage that, or there's going to be an issue. And Rana is that. He's like, I'm not going to die on this hill regarding this, maybe fixing the pipe. He bent. He was like, all right, I don't like it, but this is how this is going to get done.
Right.
You need somebody that can get shit done regardless of you.
Right. True. That moment that we missed about 90 minutes into the film, I went back to it just to see what the line was that happened. No, because you're like, oh no, I missed that moment. Right now, Amitabh Bachchan is saying, no one else. Anyways, such old memories coming back. He takes a glass of water. Remember Binod after mother passed away. Her body was kept here, head that side, legs here. PIKU's mother's body, that too. He's just remembering after his wife passed away. That's all we miss.
Okay.
And so that could be interpreted any number of ways. It could be that she misses her mom. It could be the fear of her father passing away. It could go any number of ways. There's a lot of moments like that. I know you didn't like the film, but the first film I noticed that did stuff like that was Drive, where there's just like these moments of people thinking about stuff, and it was just very fixated on that. Like if you go back and watch the film again, which I know you'll never will, there's a lot of moments of characters just sort of lost in thought, just, pondering. And this film does that, and it's more interesting here because it's usually triggered by conversation. And the film doesn't always spoil you, doesn't always spoon feed you and tell you this is what the characters are thinking right now. And I actually really appreciate that, because it allows you as the viewer to sort of project onto them in a sort of a Ryan Gosling kind of way. You project onto them like, well, maybe this is what they're feeling. And whatever your interpretation is valid. And that's the beauty of art, especially in a film like this. And I'm glad it didn't hold my hand all the way through. I thought it was actually very brave of the director to do that.
Yeah, I'm happy that the director, this director seems to be an actor's director. He definitely gives the actor a space to build those relationships. And this is a relationship film. With every character. Even the relationships between the drivers and Rana, and the subtle things in their looks regarding having to pick up PIKU. This is like all of that. You have to take those moments. There weren't a lot of really super quick cuts when it counted. There were some. Those are stylistic enough to kind of like wake you up after moments of long dialogue. But this is a very dialogue-driven piece. And the only way that you can make this interesting is if you have an actor who absolutely knows, actor and actress, their character through and through, knows their arc, knows what they want, and this was spot on. I think the biggest thing about this particular project was the acting.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was well directing, but the actors just came with it. At no point in time was I bored with this massive amount of dialogue, and it's a lot. And a lot of it is mindless, but it's mindless in a fun way. Like we spent 15 minutes talking about how to take a dump, and it was like, okay, I can see this. I can see the frustrations, and I can see the thoughtfulness, and I can see each person kind of like pulling for position to prove who's right and wrong and all that, and all those different dynamics and how each person had a different relationship with the other. It was really fascinating. That's a very difficult thing to juggle as as a director, it's a 9 out of 10 from
Yeah.
the acting standpoint.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, they did a really good job with the combination of acting and directing. They did a really good job with the evolution of Deepika Padukone coming around to Irrfan Khan and like slowly him wearing her down in terms of her guard, in terms of her resistance. You know, I'm not, you know, you're not impressing anybody. You know, she says it multiple times, but each time she says it, you know that she's getting more and more impressed by him. And the film is like, it's not doing anything overtly romantic. It's all more implied. And actually, I think that's like a very, very cool way to go. Yeah.
Yes.
And it goes against the grain completely because it's not what you typically will find in a Bollywood movie. So this is very out of the norm, and I like it a lot. I think it's great, and I wish I saw it sooner. Better late than even later. So I like it a lot, and happy to recommend it to friends and family. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Make sure to follow SYNTELL with the Intel on his YouTube channel, youtube.com/SYNTELL, and at SYNTELL on Instagram. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon, please all notifications, and vote this up. If you're watching this on Patreon, thanks so much for hanging out with us. I am Jaby KOAY. This is...
Yo, it's your boy SYNTELL.
Peace out.